Welcome to Homesteading with the Heberts Garage Edition again. My wife came home last night and she was complaining that the back tires stunk real bad. I came out, looked at it, it was super hot to touch. So it tells me that the tire is probably seized as far as with the caliper, so we're going to go ahead and take a look and see if that's the problem. Alright, so now we got the tire jacked up off the ground. You can see underneath there's plenty of airspace underneath this tire, and the tire does not want to spin freely. See, the tire doesn't want to spin freely, it's jammed in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take off the tire. We're going to see if we can't determine why that is. Alright, so we're taking the tire off. Now there could be a couple things going on here. This is pretty rusted, but I've recently changed this out probably about a year or two ago, so I'm going to try to see if it's something other than the piston, which this boot looks pretty good on the piston. So what I'm thinking it's going to be is the pins to the cage are binding, because the caliper is not moving at all, and as you can see that thing is tight. So we're going to go ahead and loosen up the bleeder valve and see if that releases the pressure first, and then we'll check the pins.
We might have to change that too, right?
Can you go get me my wrenches?
Yes. Okay, hold up. Here.
Alright, so I just loosened up the bleeder valve to see if that released the pressure, and that did not release the pressure. So we're going to go ahead and close that bleeder valve before I lose fluid. So that's good. So now we're going to take off these two. Well, this is pretty tight, so I'm starting to wonder if it is the caliper. Alright, so the pins here are moving pretty freely. I mean, if this wasn't in the way, let me see if I can't move that just a little bit more. Alright, so these pins are moving freely in there, so it's not going to be the pins. Unfortunately, that's what I was hoping it was going to be. Although this boot looks pretty good. I can't believe this caliper is already gone. So I'm going to have to go get a new caliper. pain in the butt. Alright, so now that I got the caliper off, you can see it moves freely. Well, my pads are still good, so I don't need to change out the pads. I'm just going to need to get a new caliper.
What's a caliper, Daddy?
This thing. Which that's the pain in the butt thing to change too. What makes these calipers a pain in the butt to change is the emergency brake cable right there. Because you got to get this cable out of this bracket, which is always a pain. Alright, so the way you do this, and I don't know if you can see this very well, but there's 3 pins. Alright, so the way you do this is there's 3 pins. One right there, one there, and one on the other side. You got to push all those down at the same time and then pry the wire back. Once you get it back, you should be able to slide it through this slot and then around here. So in order to do that, I'm going to take the caliper off, turn the caliper to give me some more distance in there, and I'm just putting a wrench in here to prevent that clip from going all the way back up and getting caught again, because that takes a while to get off. So hopefully you can see here is the cable. So I just got the caliper bolts off, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the caliper off, and then I'm just going to pull it using the wrench on the cable as well here. I'm just trying to pull this cable and the caliper apart enough to be able to slide it through this little groove here. Come on. There we go. Now we got the emergency brake off. I'm going to hold up where I'm at. Just going to put this on here so that it can't fall off, and we're going to go and get a new caliper because I haven't done that yet. Alright, so we got the new one now, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take the rest of the caliper off, and then we'll put the new one on. So I'm going to use the 18mm wrench here, remove the caliper bracket. Before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and hang the actual caliper and hang it right off of here. Now we're there, it's not hanging off of the brake cable at all. Pull the old brake bracket off. And install the brake pads into the new one. So now that we got the brake pads on, we're going to go ahead and put the brake cable on. Just going to go ahead and slide that in there like that. And to make it easier, you just got to pull it down the inside there. we're just going to snap that back in, just like that. Now we're going to go ahead and position the brake caliper. Reattach to the vehicle. Bottom bolt, it's in. Grab the top bolt, ensuring the brackets are in place. Putting the caliper in the right place. And we're just going to screw that in. Snug that down. Snug this one down. Now those are good. Brake cable's in the right place. Everything there is good. So what we got to do now is we're going to find the wrench for this. Make sure we got the right one. Yep. Okay. So that's a 12. What we got to do is we got to take this off of the old caliper, which is the brake cable. We're going to take the brake cable and we're going to put it onto the new one. So to get this ready, we're going to go ahead and get the banjo bolt ready. I'm going to take it off, and then we're going to take the banjo bolt off the other one, which apparently is a different size. Yep. Now you want to do this fairly quickly because you are going to lose fluid doing this. Then we'll take the other one off and throw it into the box so it can leak into the box. I'm going to get a towel. I'm going to dry all this off just to make sure it's not leaking, and then we've got to bleed the brakes. Alright, so it doesn't look like we got anything leaking. Now I'm going to see if I can't find a hose for this so that we can bleed the brakes. Okay, so Odie's got the brake, she's holding it down, and what I'm going to do is we're going to use this hose with this bottle. I'm going to hold the bottle, I'm going to open up the bleeder valve, and then I'll have her let up on the brake after I close it. Once I figure out which wrench this goes to. Alright, that should be it. It should be bled. So we're going to go with that. Now we're going to go take it for a test drive after we put the tire back on. Hey guys, so now that we went ahead and changed that out, you saw that quite a bit of fluid came out, so we're just going to top off the brake fluid. So we opened up the master cylinder and we're just going to top it off. That's good. Put the cylinder cap back on. And now I'm going to take it for a test drive and it should be all set.